Hello everyone. So through this video we'll discuss the most important concept of Java, which is your class and object. Now whenever these two words are coming to our mind, we need to differentiate it. Okay. So whenever you will come across a particular word, suppose dog. Now you can imagine or you can draw something in your mind that it's an animal which is having four legs, 2 ears, have some height, some length. So according to these properties, you have said something in your mind or one picture is coming to your mind, which is a logical concept. Okay. That logical concept which is coming to your mind is your class. Okay. Because it forms a picture into your mind with all these properties. Clear? But when we usually see a physical dog in any place, now you can relate by looking at that particular animal that whatever, suppose that dog is present at your home, so you can relate to your logical concept. Now it is satisfying with four legs, 2 ears, height is also same, length is also same. Whatever I have thought of in my mind, the same thing I am looking at my home. Okay, so let's, its name is Jimmy. So Jimmy, the dog, is physically existing at my home, and that physical existence is nothing but it's an object of that particular class. Clear? Okay. So to make it more clear regarding the concept of class and object, so let me give you an example. Suppose I want to stitch a particular shirt by a tailor. Okay. So first of all, the tailor will take the measurement. Okay, and it will make a plan that how to stitch that particular shirt. Okay, so and that plan is based upon the measurements. Okay, so what the tailor will do, it may take some time and it will draw a model or the picture in the notebook. Clear? We all have experienced this particular situation. Okay, so whatever the plan or the model he or she has drawn in the notebook, that model is known as the class, which is a logical entity. Okay, it is having a logical existence in the notebook itself. But why that model has been designed? By following that particular model, now the stitching work will be done. Okay, and the shirt will be completed. Clear? When the shirt will be originally completed, we can wear this one. Okay, and it will have the physical existence in the real world. That particular shirt what you are wearing is actually the object. Clear? So initially the plan or the model whatever has been designed in the notebook is known as your class. But whenever on the basis of that model or the measurement, whenever the original shirt has been stitched and you are wearing that one, that you can say it's an object. Clear? Again, to complete that particular object or to complete that particular shirt, what is the material we require? We require cloth. Clear? And that cloth is nothing but you can relate the memory which is allocated by JVM to the object. Clear? Okay. So if we'll brief the entire concept, the idea is known as the class, what the tailor has done. Okay. The cloth is the memory which is required, and finally the shirt has been designed which you are using is known as your object. Clear? So by keeping all these things into the picture in my mind, I'll start the concept of class and object. Clear? Okay. So class is nothing but what we have discussed is the user defined prototype or the template or the blueprint, or you can say the model what the tailor has done. Okay, and we will also do the same thing. Clear? Now it will represent the set of properties or methods that are common to all. Means what? Now whenever someone will ask you that can you define a particular person? Okay, so what you will do, you will take a pen and paper. Okay, and finally you are thinking that if I'll define a particular person, that means the person will have some name, it will have some age, and it will have some gender. Okay, now these are the properties that we have set. Clear? After that what I am doing, I am thinking that person means it needs to talk. Okay, it can work, it can eat, the minimum three things. Okay, so what I have done finally, by considering these properties and by considering these actions, okay, in total I am defining it's a person. So everything is coming to my mind and I have written in the pen and paper. Clear? So it will represent the set of properties, methods which are common to all. Because if I'll take my example, I am having a name, I am having a age, and I am also having a gender. If you'll take your own example, you will have a name, you'll have a age, you'll have a gender. I can talk, I can work, I can eat. You can talk, you can work, you can eat. So all those common properties to all are set in the blueprint. Clear? So class declaration consists of name, variable, methods, and their body. Okay, we'll see through the example. And whatever we have discussed till now, the person is nothing but it's a logical entity, because we are only thinking that if there will be a person, then it will have a age, it will have a name, it will have a gender, it can talk, it can walk, it can eat. Okay. Now, whenever you are coming for object, now what is the object is all about? Now, I have told you on the basis of that person class, if I am taking my example, so I am having a name, okay, I am having a age, I am having a gender, clear? So that means which is created from a class or result of a class is known as your object, clear? Okay. Similarly, objects have states, behaviors, and identity. Okay. Because if I am a object, you are a object, somebody else is an object, then every object is different with respect to some identification. And the most important thing, the difference between class and object, you can say object is the physical entity. Clear? So that means in object oriented programming methodology, the most important or the root concept is known as your object. Clear? Because that object is anything that really exists in the real world. Okay? On the basis of the existence, now you can say that this is an object. Clear? Okay? So like person, if I'll say everything is an object, that means a table is an object, a ball is an object. Okay? But whenever I'll consider flower, now flower is a global word, it's an concept, so it's a class. But whenever I'm taking the example of rose, it's an object. If I'm taking the example of jasmine, it's an object because they are physically existing and following all the properties of flower class. Clear? Okay, so this is what the real-time example or the concept behind class and object. Okay, so if you'll see programmatically how this class and object will be defined, so let's check. Okay, So as you are writing Java program, so you are selecting J for Java. Now every class will have a name. Clear? Okay. So public. So instead of writing public static, let's keep some properties. Okay. So as per our example, let's I am thinking that student. So whenever I am talking about student, now what property is coming to my mind? Now it must have a name. Okay. It must have a age. If exam has been appeared, clear, then it must have secured some mark. Clear. So these are the properties I am setting for the class. Done. Okay. Now on the basis of these properties, setting action. Okay. Action means what? That means I am defining the method. Clear. Suppose one get method I have defined. So what I will do inside the get method? I will take the input and initialize all the properties of the student class. Okay. Clear. So enter name equal to sc dot next. Similarly, system dot out dot println, enter age, next int. Okay. And the last one, I am entering the mark. Okay. So I am setting the action for the properties. Similarly, I'll display all the value whatever I have initialized through one more action for the student. Okay. Okay. So through this what I have done till now. Now I have defined a class student. Okay. Inside the student class, I have thought of that this should be the minimum property so that I can say this is a student. So student will have a name, it will have some age, it will consider some mark. Okay. Now on the basis of these properties, I am defining some action on that particular student. That means if any student will take admission, it will get some name, it must have some age, and after appearing the exam it will have some mark. Okay. So for that I have taken the input from the user by using scanner class. Similarly, one more action I have set here. If everything has been done perfectly, the input has been taken for the student, now I will display. Okay. But one thing is very important here, as class is a logical entity, so memory will not be allocated to any of the variable, any of the data member, or any of the method. Okay. Why? Because we can say that if any student will take admission, all these properties will be applicable to them. But if not a single student will take admission, you cannot give a name, you cannot give an age, you cannot put the value for the mark variable. Okay, and also you cannot put any kind of action to those variable or to those properties. Clear? So whenever you will define any class, remember, not a single bit of memory will be allocated to any of the data member or method of the class. Okay, now why then we have defined this particular class? Because we need object needs to be declared. Okay, and how object will be declared? So we'll define the main method. Okay, okay, so whenever we will create the object, we will create the object of which class? We will create the object of the student class. Okay, because everything is available inside the student class, and we will access all those things of the student class. Clear? Now whenever you will create one object of the student class, what will happen? Very simple thing. Now after creating the object, instantly memory will be allocated. Clear? What memory will be allocated? Now it will, name will be allocated, age will be allocated, mark will be allocated. So for every data member, memory will be allocated separately, because objects are the creation of the class. Okay, so objects are created from the class, and also you will allocate memory for get method, you will allocate method memory for show method. Clear? Okay, so everything in combination is a object. Clear? Okay, now what we will do here? Now we will access the get method, we will access the show method, because everything is available to the object. Clear? How to access to the object? Now you have to write ob dot get method. Okay, ob dot show method. Clear? So this is the first program we have written, where we have written more than one class. Inside one class, we are defining everything, the properties, the actions. Inside another class, we are creating the object of that particular class. Now what will happen if we create the object? Okay, so you are calling the get method. Clear? So you are calling the get method by using object ob. Okay, now once you will call, the control will move to the get method. Now whatever the variable, name, age, mark, everything belongs to that object by using which object you have made the call. Clear? So as we know that whenever memory has been allocated for name, age and mark, okay, so this particular body will execute, it will ask for the name. Whatever the name you are entering here, it will be assigned to name. Whose name? Now whose object you have used to call the get method? Now ob. So value will be assigned to the data member of that particular object. Okay, similarly enter age. Suppose you have entered 5. Okay, so here whatever the value you have entered, that value will be assigned to the variable of ob. Suppose you are entering mark 25.6f. Okay, so that will be assigned to the mark of ob. Clear? Okay, so once object is created, all these values will get memory. Clear? Done. But whenever more than one class is available in your program, now by using which class you will save the file? Now you can save your file with any name, but better to save with the file name in which main method is available. Okay, done. Now one thing is here, we have used scanner class, so our responsibility to include util package. Okay, So Java C compilation has been done. It is asking for name, asking for age. Clear? So now the details has been coming as output. So this is the simple program where we are defining a class, and inside the class you are setting all the properties, and then you are defining all the action inside the class. Inside main method you are creating the object of that particular class. Once object is created, you are allocating memory. Okay, then you are calling the method one by one, and then your output is coming. Clear? Similarly, this is one of the student. Okay, so suppose there is a college, and inside the college we will set the properties for the student. Okay, now the property is same for all. That's why you say whatever the property you are defining inside the class, that property will be same for everyone. Okay, now for one student, if it is same, for another student the property will be same, but action will be different. The action name can be same, but the values will be different. Clear? How? Now suppose I am declaring one more object. The same code I am writing, but different. ob1 is another object. I am calling the get method of by using ob1. Okay. Now what will happen in the background? Let's understand first. Now ob1, two objects are being created. Clear? Memory is allocated separately. Now whenever ob is created, name, age and mark, all property will get memory inside the object ob. Similarly, when ob1 is created, ob1 also belongs to student class. So the property of name, age and mark will also get memory inside ob1. Clear? Okay. Now whenever you are calling ob.get, so inside the get method you are entering the name, you are entering the age, you are entering the mark. Now the value will be assigned to ob or ob1. It depends by using which object you are making the call. You are making the call by using ob, so all those inputs whatever you have taken will get value inside ob. Okay. Now ob.show, you are calling the show method, you are using name, age and mark. Name, age, mark is also available to ob1, but the values of ob will get be printed. Why? Because you have called the show method by using the object ob. Clear? Similarly, whenever you will call ob1.get, again name, age and mark will get value, and all those values will be assigned to ob1. Clear? Then whenever I am calling ob1.show, inside show method I am accessing name, age, mark. Name, age, mark belongs to ob as well as ob1, but the values depends by using which object you are making the call. If you are making the call by using ob1, the name, age, mark of ob1 will be given as output. Clear? So let's execute the code so that you can understand. Okay. Compilation done. We are asking for the first student ob. Okay. So details of the first student given as input. Again asking for the second one. So this is for ob1. Now the second student details is also getting printed. Okay, but how this differentiation has been done between OB and OB1 by the JVM? Now whenever any object is being created, JVM allocates a unique identification number. Clear? How I will know that? So this is OB1 dot hash code. Okay, so one unique identification has been assigned by JVM while creating the object. Okay, and that unique identification number is known as your hash code. Clear? And you can use a predefined method hash code to get the value. So let's see whether different values are coming or not. Okay, so the object names are OB and OB1. Compilation done. So asking for the value. First student details printed. See, object 1 code, object 2 code. So this is actually known as your hash code. Okay. Now whenever any object is being created, JVM automatically allocates memory inside the heap area. Okay. And whenever memory is being allocated, automatically one code will be given, and that code will be known as your hash code. Clear? And to confirm, you have used the method hash code, and we have seen that for every object whenever you are creating, this is for OB, this is for OB1. Okay, and for both the objects you are getting a different value, which is the hash code or the unique identification number, which is allotted to the object by JVM. Clear? So this hash code is nothing but it's a reference number which is created based on the location of the object in the memory. Okay, and this is unique for all objects inside the memory. Clear? Okay, so this is the basics of class and object, what we have discussed. Okay, now if multiple number of students, like suppose inside the college we need 70 or 80 number of students, we need to allocate memory. So at that time it is not feasible that I will write on OB1 OB2 70 times. Clear? So there I can use the concept of array of objects. Okay, so what I will write, suppose for example we have written student class, so student OB equal to new student, and then I am writing suppose 5. That means I need to allocate memory for 5 number of students, but for every object I need to allocate memory dynamically. So I have to write down this particular things. How? Now index equal to 0, index less than 5, index plus plus, then here OB of index equal to new student. I have to write down this particular statement so that once array will be created, so array of objects are created, but for OB of 0 is a single object, OB of 1 is another object, OB of 2 is a third object, OB of 3 is the fourth, and OB of 4 is the fifth object. All 5 objects needs memory dynamically. So for that I have to write down this particular statement so that every individual object will get memory, and all the variables whatever you have declared or the properties whatever you have declared inside the class will get memory separately inside every object. Clear? Then only you can write down the program. Understood? Okay. So through this you can have a clear idea regarding class, the existence of object, and then array of objects. So in brief, if you'll see the difference between class and object, object is nothing but it's an instance of a class or the product of the class. But class is nothing but it's a blueprint or the model which objects from where the objects are created. Okay, so objects is nothing but it's a real world entity that we have discussed: table, chair, pen, laptop, etc. But class is a group of similar objects, or it's a model only. So object is a physical entity, class is a logical entity. Object is created many times as per the requirement. Class is declared only once. From that class, any number of objects can be created. Object allocates memory when it is created, but class doesn't allocate memory, as we have discussed that whenever you are defining a class, not a single bit of memory will be allocated. If you are defining a employee class, then object will be created like this. And when class employee will be defined, you have to use the only the keyword class. And the last point, any different types of methods are there that we'll discuss in future how to create objects, but for class there is a single way by defining the class keyword. Okay, so thank you everyone.